All right, like I said, you will need a graphing calculator for this problem. And so I'm going to show you how to navigate this because these problems show up on the quiz for this section. So they give us this function, you can see that in the top line, that gives the percentage in decimal of puffin eggs that hatch during a breeding season in terms of the mean sea surface temperature, which is our variable x. So I set this equation up in y1 on the graphing calculator. Now the hard thing about this equation is just figuring out where it is. So if I just go where I usually do, where I usually start, because most of the functions we run into, just they'll graph fine on a 10 by 10 grid. I usually go to zoom 6, but if I do that with this, I see nothing. So I want to show you another option. If you go down past 9, a 10 is called zoom fit. And what that does is the calculator takes a look at the equation and gives you some idea of where it is. It's usually pretty awful at it, though, because what we're trying to do is we're trying to figure out what this equation's value is at x equals 48. And I don't know where I'm at, but it at least found the location. So I go to window and I start basically playing around with my window settings. I know that my x-min doesn't need to be over 0, okay, because this is a pretty low mean temperature. X-max, I'm not sure where my equation is, but I'm going to double it. My y-mins are kind of interesting. I just try to level them out. I like to have the same number on both as y-min and y-max. Let's see where it shows up. And because I've got such a big number there, I want the y scale where it puts the tick marks, I want that to be pretty big as well. So let's just see what we've got. I'm pressing graph. And yeah, we have a better idea of the equation, but you know, it doesn't look like I really need much in the way of y max. And it looks like I need to see more x values to see what's going on. So I'm going to go back to my window. Usually this takes me a couple tries. Again, I'm going to double my window setting. Let me think about it. They're asking us to use an x of 48, so I definitely want to make it more than 48. Let's go back and make it, I don't know, 80. Yeah, double it and double it. Y-min looks pretty good, but Y-max I don't think it needs to be much at all. I don't know, maybe 1,000? No, not even that. Probably just 100. It didn't look like it looked like it was coming to the maximum. All right, now we have a better idea of what we're looking at. But I do want to go in and put in a little more in the way of my y-max just to give myself room to work on the display. Because it'll display things, it'll do that on the top of the graph, and I want it to not be in the way. Okay, so easiest way to calculate what the value of this function is at, what number are we given? 50 degrees, is to use trace. So I'm just going to press trace, and if I type in 50, it's going to give me the y value. So type in 50, press enter, and it looks like we've got a decimal of 0.564. Let's go back and write that down. So what's the percentage of puffin eggs? So it's 0.564 or 56.4%. Variable 6. For what mean temperature is the percentage hatched puffin eggs a maximum? Well, this made this whole thing worth the trouble, if you ask me, because I'm going to just have the calculator find my maximum. So second trace will get me my calculation function. I press 4. Now it is kind of picky. It wants a y value to the left of the max. Looks like I'm sitting a little bit to the right of the max, and I hate trying to left-right arrow, so I'm just going to type in like 40. And then my right bound, I'm going to type in 60, and it should be enough that I don't have to guess. And my maximum is at 49.4. I'm rounding on that one. So 49.4 mean temperature, looks like we get 69.9%. What mean temperature is the percentage? 49.4 degrees F. And what is the percentage of puffin eggs that will hatch, and for what mean temperature is the percentage of hatched puffin eggs a maximum? That's my mean temperature. It's also asking for the maximum of, what was that? 69.9. Don't forget, when you're converting decimal to percentage, move it 2 places to the left. All right, chartered bus company. Now, I'll be honest, this problem gave me a lot of trouble, so be really picky about how you do your math. You can't just eyeball it, but it will work out. So they've got this cool deal where they have $24. They have $24 tickets, and then if you have more than one person, they're going to reduce each ticket price by $1 for each additional person. All right, so one ticket's $24. 2 tickets, we're going to take 24 minus 1, and that's the reduction in price of each ticket, $23, and we're going to buy 2 of them. So we get $46. And at 5 tickets, they're going to reduce the price. Remember, they're going to reduce it only for the additional people past 1. So they're going to reduce this by $4. So we get 20 times 4. Let's charge the whole group for the tickets, or each person pays 20. It's $100 total. Okay, so it's asking us to use this calculation to find a quadratic function that gets the total cost of the tickets in term of the number of tickets sold. They're asking us to do a quadratic regression. So I want to remind you how to do that on the calculator. Go to y equals and clear any equations you have in there, and then go up to plot 1 and press enter. If it's already on, then just leave it on, but you can tell it's on because it's darker than the other 2. Then go to stat and press enter to edit the lists. Now I have already put this data in, but just in case you have a bunch of stuff in your list, you want to clear the list and not by each element. So the way you clear the list is to just go up to the list name, so cursor up to the list name, and press clear and press enter. And I'm going to put those numbers back so I can show you how to do the regression. Okay, so got our data in. Now we're going to go to stat and right arrow to calc, and our quadratic regression is 5. Now it kind of depends on the calculator. If you have one of my newer ones, it should look like this. Your x list has to be L1 because that's where we put the x's. Your y has to be L2, same reason. And we want it to store our regression equation in y1. So we have to tell it that by using some buttons on the calculator, because we can't just type in y1. We have to go find it in the calculator. So I'm pressing vars, and I'm right arrowing to y-vars, and then press enter and enter. And that'll put y1 in that store regression equation line. Now we just want it to calculate. And it's giving us our numbers for our quadratic. A is -1, B is 25, and C is a very large negative exponent. That's scientific notation, and that is equivalent to 0. And usually it will do that when it means 0 on the calculator, because it's calculating these numbers, and it can keep track using scientific notation to a great number of decimal points. It's your job to interpret a number like that as 0. So A is -1, B is 25. Let's write that down. Okay, so total cost of the tickets in term of x is going to be -1 x squared, what was that constant? Plus 25. So that's my equation. How many tickets are sold to maximize revenue for the bus company? Well, we can't find that out by plugging into the equation, which is why I went to all the trouble of putting it in the calculator. It's asking us to go find the maximum. And again, we've got to kind of hunt around for this thing. So we're going to go to zoom and zoom fit, which is 0. And now we can kind of see our equation. It looks like it might have hung on to some of my window settings from last time. Yeah, we won't need an Xmax that big. I'm going to go down to 20. And let's just see what that looks like, because all I have to do is get it in the window so I can get a maximum. I need more Y max. Yeah, because I can't even really see it. I'm going to change that to just 400. And, you know, there's really no science to this. It just, you get kind of a feel for it. All right, so my max is over here in the middle somewhere. And now I'm just going to have it go find it for me. Second trace will give me the calculation menu, number 4. And again, I gotta have to box it in a little bit. Yeah, that looks good. And then over on the other side, we're counting by hopefully 1, 2, 5, 6. So I'm sitting at 9 plus 7. Let's say 15. Gotta put the pen down. Yeah, that looks like my max is boxed in, so let's press enter. And the max is at 12.49, that rounds to 12.5. And Y is 156.25. So at 12.5 tickets, they're going to maximize, you're going to maximize the savings on it. I think, or maximize the, nope, that is the tickets sold. So 12.5 tickets will maximize the profit. And I know they can't sell 12.5 tickets, so it's either 12 or 13.